Good evening or good afternoon for certain people. And in this video, we will talk about how to read a visa bulletin, and we will use the 2022 February visa bulletin step by step. Then we'll talk about the latest in immigration. What we have here is 20,000 more visas has been added to H2B category. Okay. Before we go there, let me introduce myself. For those who do not know me, my name is Bijoux.ngwanda. I'm an immigration lawyer based in DC, and I do work with individuals across the country and around the world. I do also do family law for DC residents only, where we deal with divorce, child custody, alimony, child support, child neglect, and all the above, right? When it comes to family matters. We deal with it because we want to make sure that for the best interest of the child, we provide the best services possible that there is to provide out there. If you want, or what I want you to do now really is to follow me on those platforms, okay? Please follow me on those platforms, Facebook, TikTok. Again, follow me on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and on YouTube, of course, because I'm here on YouTube. And share my video with your friends, family members, colleagues, work related people that you know, overseas, abroad, or here in the States, so that we can grow this channel and so that YouTube can show my videos to those that really need the help. Let's get right into it. I'm gonna share my video, my screen. Sorry, sharing my screen here, so we can get into it straight and how you can read that visa bulletin. Okay, you just go to travel.state.gov visa bulletin. You can just Google it, travel.state.gov visa bulletin, and you really go to visa bulletin for February 2022. Okay, so when it comes to family-based type of visas, you have to know two things, right? You have to know your priority date and your category preference. What is the category preference? For family sponsor preferences, we have F1, which is unmarried sons and daughters of U.S. citizen. We have spouses and children and unmarried sons of daughter and or of permanent resident. Then we have F2A, spouses and children of permanent resident. Then we have F2B, unmarried sons and daughters, okay, 20 years old of age or older of permanent resident. Third category, F3, married sons and daughters of U.S. citizen. Then we have fourth category, F4, kind of like the last one, brothers and sisters of adult U.S. citizen. And this is the number of visa that becomes available each year. That's why, because the number of visa are limited, that's why people have to wait and to see whether their priority date becomes current and when they can actually apply for that immigrant visa processing abroad, right? Consular processing. Okay. So the way you know it, final action for family sponsor preference cases. The way you know it, you have your priority date, you know your category. Now you look at the priority date. If you see C, it means it's current. The numbers are authorized for issuance to all qualified applicants. If you see U, means unauthorized. But if you look at your priority date is earlier than the final action, then you can actually apply, right? Earlier than the final action, then you're current, you can apply. That's how you go. Earlier than. So for example, if it says, for country like India, you just go here, Mexico, You go here, India, Mexico, and Philippines. You just, right now they are like on March of 12, right? March 2012. And F2A, everywhere it's CCC, which means it's current. Your priority date is current. Now it's a matter of when should you apply, right? Spouses and children of permanent residents. That's F8, F2A. Now let me just give you an example, right? Let's say you have F2B, which is this category here, and marry sons and daughters. And your priority date is, for example, September 2014, which is earlier than September 2015. Then, quite frankly, you are current. Okay? And then when it comes to date for filing for that visa, for that immigrant visa, you go back here again. The same thing apply, right? C, meaning that it is current and that application may be filed regardless of the applicant's priority date. If you see here, somewhere it says C, then it doesn't matter what priority date you have, you can just go ahead and apply. But if you don't see any C here, depending on what category you are, now let's say F2B, you see the priority date, you see the date here is September 22nd, 2006. But if you on your priority date is like earlier than September 22nd, 2016, for example, let's say May 2011, then you can just go ahead and apply because you are current and you can apply. It just has to be earlier than the date indicated here. And then for people living in China, this is where you go. India, Mexico, and Philippines. It's different because for those people, it's so specific. You really have to read in that area. Okay. So, and when it comes to employment-based preferences too, it's the same thing, right? You know your priority date and you know your preference category, right? First, second, third, fourth, and fifth. First is priority workers. Second, member of the profession holding advanced degree or person of exceptional ability. Third, skilled workers, professional and other workers. Fourth, certain special immigrants. And then fifth, employment creation. So final action date for employment-based preferences, again, C means current, U means unauthorized, and then if your priority date is earlier than the final action date listed below, it means you are current. That's it. If you see C here, it means you're current. And then if you go here on date of filing for the visa, for the actual visa, you see again C here, then it means you can prepare and file. Okay? So if you don't see that, you just look at the priority date. It has to be earlier than the date indicated in those columns here. So simple. I'm going to leave this link in the description box so you can go ahead and just read it. So simple. If you have a question, please don't forget to comment below, leave your questions, concern, and we can just move forward explaining to you again if you miss something. And then we go to diversity immigrant visa for the month of February. It actually gives you an overview of how many visas they give out when it comes to diversity, and then how is it divided or allocated based on continent or region. Okay. And then here it tells you the cutoff, which will apply in March. How do you really just know whether the cutoff date has been like gone, so you don't have to apply, or you miss it? That's where you go. Okay. And then we have expiration of the employment-based fifth category here. Then we have availability of employment-based fourth preferences. You can read here if you concern expiration date, you concern. So, and sometime when people apply, whether it's current, and then they miss because limited number of visa are available, right? And then some people miss the opportunity, not because it's their fault, it's just because the number of visa are limited. And then that's why this Biden administration, when they were talking about this Plan C, trying to recapture unused visa in the employment-based category, that's what they were talking about. People can be current, like for example, here you can see there's a lot of C going on, but the question is, did those people get their visa, their green card? So if not, then at some point they're gonna lose it, and then it's difficult to recapture it. That's why they wanted to really to bring it into this bill, but unfortunately, as we know it, the BBB is dead. But anyway, now you know how to read the visa bulletin for family base and the employment base. So moving on to the next good news, okay? What is the next good news? The next good news is that DHS announces the availability for additional H2B visas for the first half of fiscal year, this year 2022. DHS has the Department of Homeland Security and Department of Labor today announced the availability of 20,000, you see, additional H2B temporary non-agricultural worker visas for the first half of fiscal year 2022. These visas are for U.S. employers that are facing irreparable harm without additional workers, okay, and seeking to employ additional workers on or before March 31st, 2022. So we're going to try to help you out to see if your employer might sponsor you based on this additional 20,000 additional, right? Let's see if you qualify. So let's go here and see who is qualified. H2B temporary non-agricultural worker. Who fit into that category? Okay, who might qualify for H2B classification? To qualify for H2B non-immigrant classification, the petitioner must establish that there are not enough U.S. workers who are able, willing, qualified, and available to do the temporary work. That's the petitioner, your employer, right? They have to establish that. And then employing H2B workers will not adversely affect the wages and working conditions of similarly employed U.S. workers. Its need for the prospective workers' services or labor is temporary, regardless of whether the underlying job can be described as temporary. The employer need to consider temporary if one-time occurrence, okay, petitioner claiming a one-time occurrence must show that it is an employment situation that is otherwise permanent, but a temporary event of short duration has created the need for a temporary worker, right? The petitioner must really show that it's a temporary type of job or seasonal in nature, okay? So that's what the H2B petitioner must show, right? Non-agricultural workers. So, and then this is the process that the petitioner has to do. DOL, really, they have to go submit the temporary labor certification, submit the form I-129 to USCIS, and then the person who's outside of the US apply for visa and admission, okay? So eligible country, not everybody can be part of it, so you have to look at here. If your country is part of it, then you might request to your employer to actually petition for you, okay? So this is it, right? This is the great news. 20,000 additional, really 20,000 additional visas for H2B. And then the other thing is, we know really that we have, they have added 22 fields when it comes to STEAM for students, international students. So giving them the opportunity to use up those 3 years, and then within that 3 years, try to find a sponsor and eventually get into that green card category. That's what some people are talking about. There's a lot of green cards available this year. That's what they meant really by that. So I'm going to stop sharing here. Come back here. Don't forget to comment below. Comment below, share, like. If you need a consultation on your immigration situation, please call to 2751-2180. Email on display. Consultation fees apply. And if you need a family law attorney struggling with family problem or issues, legal issues, of course, in DC, you can call me again to 2751-2180. Consultation fees apply. Again, if please follow me on those social media: Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, of course. Until next time, bye.